I don't know if these guys are going to do any time. For the record, Luis Ortiz's attorney says all the evidence against him is circumstantial and he will be exonerated. Class A's representatives haven't weighed in yet. But if they are found to have done what is alleged, then there's almost no wiggle room. They bet on a game in which they were involved. They weren't necessarily trying to throw the game. That's what a prop bet is. It's just one tiny portion of the game. But they bet on a game in which they were involved. And baseball's rules have been clear about that. Just ask the ghost of Pete Rose. If you bet on a game in which you are involved, automatic, permanent ineligibility. If you bet on another game within the league in which you're not involved, automatic 1-year suspension.
Look, I feel bad for Pete Rose, but second of all, if they dig into who's betting and how and in what way, it'll make steroids, look like, literally a layup. How big do you think this is, and how deep do you think they should go into unearthing who's betting on what sports amongst professional personnel?
Well, my sense of it is that it's not nearly as widespread as what steroids were at the height or depth of the so-called steroid era in the 90s and early 2000s. And the Players Association is never going to stand for the commissioner's office, even if they wanted to do it, if the commissioner wanted to do it, to say, hey, everybody, let us take a look at your cell phones. Let us see what you're doing. They'd have to turn up specific evidence that would come from some other place. And that other place is that all of these gambling outfits, whatever they may be, just like Vegas did through all the years, and now you got a zillion online operations where you can bet on your phone, all of them monitor for unusual traffic on particular games or particular situations within games. And that's the only time that an investigation ensues. Wait a minute. Why was there so much money bet on whether the first pitch to the leadoff guy from Emmanuel Clase would be a ball, or whether it would be a pitch of 95 miles an hour or less or more? Why was there so much bet on that? That's when the red flags come up. But unless that happens, I don't see how baseball overall is going to look into the cell phones and the off-hours activities of hundreds of players.
Do you think it's only a matter of time before we go from this to football and from football to hockey?
Well, it already happened in basketball. In the NBA, Jante Porter of the Toronto Raptors about a year or so ago was banned from the NBA for life. These prop bets are really where the trouble lies, because it's difficult and obvious if you're actually throwing a game, the outcome of the game. But let's say you're Jante Porter. He was not a star player. He was a bench player. So let's say the over-under on how many points he would score in a given game was 7 or 8. What he would do is he'd come into the game, feign a minor injury, come out before he exceeded or matched what the line was, or get into foul trouble, or whatever it might be. And for a long time, that was under the radar. It didn't seem all that suspicious until some people began putting all the pieces of the puzzle together and saw that there was unusual action on Jante Porter, not exactly a superstar player, on what he would do in given games, and they figured out what was going on. That ought to be a cautionary tale in the NBA. What Clase and Ortiz are facing now, what they're facing now with the Guardians, that ought to be a cautionary tale for everybody in Major League Baseball. But why do people do stupid things? It's just easier to do stupid gambling things now because it's right in the palm of your hand.
Oh, it's so easy. There's none of these guys that doesn't have buddies around them that are betting on their games while they're sitting there watching them.
That's right.
I mean, the betting is contagious in a way I've never seen it before. I've never been a gambling guy. I don't get off on the action and the risk. Like, I'm too much of a control freak. But you did make a very interesting point. One, people think these guys don't bet because they make money already. They don't get that it's about the action. Yep. And the eternal quest for more, not just how much you already have.
Yeah. In some cases, it's the action. In other cases, and it might be true here, maybe you're trying to help out a pal. Maybe you come from the Dominican Republic, like Clase does, all right? Now, he's making millions, and had he not made this huge mistake, would have been making mega millions on his next contract. But maybe he says, look, I can just throw a ball outside, won't really affect my team, and my pals can bet on this and maybe make, 50 grand that doesn't mean that much to me but means a lot to them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.